Congratulations. You've just been born as a sea otter. You're wet, you're confused, and you weigh about 2 kilograms. Roughly the heft of a small laptop, except laptops don't have to survive the North Pacific Ocean. Laptops don't have metabolisms that demand constant feeding. Laptops don't have predators circling beneath them. You do. You've been alive for approximately 30 seconds, and the universe is already compiling a list of ways to kill you. Let's run through them together. Here's your first problem. You can't swim. No, really. Sea otter pups are born with a special coat of fur so dense and buoyant that you physically cannot dive underwater. You just float there, like a cork with a face, like a bath toy that screams. This fur contains up to 1 million hair follicles per square inch, the densest fur of any mammal on Earth. It's a miracle of evolution. It's also a trap. Your mother will spend up to 8 hours a day grooming this fur, fluffing it meticulously to trap tiny air bubbles that keep you warm and afloat. If that fur gets matted, dirty, or, God forbid, contaminated with oil, you lose both your buoyancy and your insulation simultaneously. You'll sink, you'll freeze, you'll drown. Probably in that order. Oh, and where were you born? Not a cozy burrow, not a sandy beach. You were born in the open ocean, in kelp beds, in water hovering between 4 and 10 degrees Celsius. Your mother gave birth while floating on her back in the Pacific, surrounded by nothing but salt water and indifference. This is day 1. Here's something fun about sea otters. You have no blubber. Seals have blubber. Whales have blubber. Walruses are basically wearing blubber suits. Every sensible marine mammal figured out that if you are going to live in freezing water, you should probably insulate yourself with a thick layer of fat. Sea otters said no. Sea otters chose violence. Instead of blubber, you rely entirely on 2 things: that ridiculously high maintenance fur and a metabolism running at roughly 2 to 3 times the rate of a land mammal your size. You burn calories like a bonfire in a windstorm. Adult sea otters must consume 25 to 30% of their body weight every single day just to maintain core temperature. For a 30-kilogram otter, that's 7 to 9 kilograms of food daily. To put that in human terms, imagine eating 40 to 50 pounds of crab, clams, and sea urchins every day of your life. Miss breakfast, your body temperature starts dropping. Miss a few meals, hypothermia sets in, your organs start shutting down. You are one bad hunting day away from death at all times. As a pup, you can't hunt at all. You survive entirely on your mother's milk, some of the richest milk produced by any mammal, containing 20 to 25% fat. She is essentially converting her own body into liquid calories and funneling them directly into you. Meanwhile, she still needs to eat her own 25% daily quota. She's burning calories to make milk, to give you calories, while simultaneously hunting enough calories to not die herself. The math is exhausting, and she's doing it while carrying you on her chest. For the first 4 to 8 weeks of your life, you cannot leave your mother's body. You live on her chest. She floats on her back, and you float on her stomach, like the world's most anxious passenger on the world's most unstable boat. She sleeps this way, she eats this way, she travels this way. When she needs to dive for food, she has a problem. You can't come with her. You'd float away. So she does something ingenious and slightly horrifying. She wraps you in kelp, literally. She takes strands of kelp and swaddles you in them, anchoring you to the kelp forest so you don't drift off into the open ocean while she's hunting. You bob there, alone, tangled in seaweed, screaming, while your mother disappears into the dark water below. If she doesn't come back, because a shark found her, or an orca found her, or she simply couldn't find enough food and starved, you will die. There's no backup plan. Orphaned sea otter pups have virtually 0 survival rate in the wild. You can't thermoregulate. You can't swim properly. You can't hunt. You're a floating calorie packet waiting for a predator to notice. Let's say you survive. Your mother didn't die. You didn't drift away. You didn't freeze, starve, or get snatched by an eagle. Now comes the hard part. You need to learn how to be a sea otter, and the skill set is absurd. First, diving. Remember that ultra-buoyant fur? You need to overcome it. Adult sea otters can dive 100 meters or more, holding their breath for up to 5 minutes. You, a pup who has never submerged, need to learn this from scratch. Your first dives will be shallow, clumsy, and mostly unsuccessful. Second, foraging. Sea otters eat sea urchins, crabs, clams, mussels, abalone, snails, and occasionally fish. Most of this food is hidden, buried in sand, wedged in rock crevices, camouflaged in kelp. You need to learn where to look, what's edible, and how to extract it. Third, tool use. Sea otters are one of the only non-primate species that use tools. You'll learn to balance a flat rock on your chest and smash shellfish against it to crack them open. This isn't instinct, it's learned behavior, passed from mother to pup. Some otters develop signature techniques. Some prefer certain rocks and carry them in a loose pouch of skin under their arm. You will spend months, possibly years, refining your personal method. Pups typically stay with their mothers for 6 to 8 months. Even after weaning, many juveniles struggle to feed themselves efficiently. Studies suggest first-year mortality rates for independent juveniles can exceed 50%. Half of the otters who survive puppyhood die in their first year alone anyway. Great white sharks. They patrol the same coastal waters you call home, and they're not picky. Orcas, especially transient orcas, who specialize in hunting marine mammals. A pod of orcas can devastate a sea otter population in a single season. Bald eagles. Yes, eagles. They'll swoop down and pluck pups directly off the water's surface. You weigh 2 kilograms. An eagle can carry that. But let's talk about the predator you didn't expect. Other sea otters. Male sea otters are violent. Breeding behavior involves males biting females' faces, often leaving permanent scars or wounds that become infected. Males have been documented holding females and pups underwater during mating attempts, sometimes drowning them. And it gets stranger. Male sea otters have been observed assaulting juvenile harbor seals, sometimes fatally. Scientists don't fully understand why. It's not predation. They don't eat them. It's just violence. Your own species is a hazard. For 150 years, humans hunted sea otters relentlessly. Your fur, that same miraculous, impossible fur, was the most valuable pelt in the maritime fur trade. A single sea otter skin could fetch more than a year's wages. By the time international protections were enacted in 1911, the global sea otter population had collapsed from several 100,000 to fewer than 2,000 individuals. Your species nearly vanished because you were too soft to resist. Populations have recovered, somewhat, but you're still listed as endangered, and the threats haven't disappeared. Oil spills are catastrophic. Remember, your fur is your survival. A single oil tanker accident can contaminate thousands of otters. Once oil mats your fur, you lose insulation and buoyancy simultaneously. The Exxon Valdez spill in 1989 killed an estimated 2,800 sea otters directly, with ongoing population effects for decades. One industrial accident can erase generations. Here's the cruel irony. You're not just fighting for your own survival. You're a keystone species. Sea otters eat sea urchins. Sea urchins eat kelp. Without otters, urchin populations explode and devour entire kelp forests, creating barren underwater wastelands called urchin barrens. Kelp forests are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth. They sequester carbon, shelter fish, protect coastlines from erosion. When otters disappear, the whole system collapses. So no pressure. But the health of the Pacific coastal ecosystem is partially riding on whether you survive puppyhood. So here you are, a 2-kilogram puffball in the North Pacific, burning calories like your life depends on it, because it does, wrapped in kelp while your mother hunts. Surrounded by sharks, orcas, eagles, and violent males of your own species. You can't swim for weeks. You can't hunt for months. You can't reliably feed yourself for years. Your fur is your only defense, and a single drop of oil can destroy it. Your metabolism is a runaway engine demanding constant fuel. Your ecosystem depends on you, and humans nearly erased you for coats. But hey, you hold hands when you sleep. You float on your backs and crack shellfish on your bellies. You're objectively adorable, and that might be the only reason anyone bothered to save you. The next time you see a sea otter at an aquarium looking cozy and well-fed, remember, in the wild, every single day of the animal's life is a desperate calorie-burning negotiation with an ocean that wants it dead. Subscribe if you want to feel bad about more animals.